The Mid-Morning Show, brought to you by Gilmore's Kings Court, your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. The good news goes on, with price reductions continuing for a limited time only across the entire new model range. The time is now to drive a Mercedes-Benz from Gilmore's Kings Court. 042 966 7126 or gilmores.ie. Terms and conditions apply and subject to availability.
Sorry, we're just having a little bit of a chat here. Now, Tracey Hanby is an event organiser. Faith Flaherty. Well, I have your age here, but you can feel free to give it. I won't give it. No. And Faith has a pacemaker fitted. And we have Councillor Sinead Burke, who's more used of the severe roastings, perhaps, from time to time when she's with Michael Reid. I'm sure you won't mind me saying. Now, on December 21st last year, my next guest lost her father, and it was very, very unexpected. That occurred at his home, and since then she's been trying to, I suppose, accept and cope with that sudden loss. Her father, most likely, you believe, passed away of a heart-related cause, and you're now hoping to promote and raise the awareness of heart disease and the work of the Irish Heart Foundation. So can you explain from start to where you are now, how are you coping?
That's a very difficult question to answer. I suppose this is very good. It's very distractive. But as a nurse, I work obviously in an area of health related. So I suppose from a personal point of view, my life came home to me and found it very difficult because I was actually in work at the time when it happened. So it can be a little bit upsetting that you weren't at home perhaps to help. My mum had to give CPR to my dad, and unfortunately he wasn't going to make it. So it's a little bit difficult. Sorry, I'm getting emotional now.
That's okay.
From that point of view, because I'm the one who was always there to help and encourage and get him to the doctor. In fairness to him, he did know he was not well. And he had heart history. He was a diabetic. He's lucky to have lived as long as he did. So I suppose it's a difficult release to accept because it happened in the way it did. So as a way to move forward, Drumbeat occurred in my head. I had always thought about it. It was drummers on the Hill of Tara, just having fun with drums, a nice open space to do it, nice and loud. But then the relevance of the heartbeat, drumbeat, it all just made perfect sense, and it helped me focus and distract myself in a really positive way. And Sinead's here today because without her, I would never have got Drumbeat off the ground. And she can tell you more about that side of things
in just a second.
So
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to dwell, but I'm just curious to know as well. This process and this project is a part of, and I know everybody's process is different, but this is part of your grieving process.
This is part of me saying goodbye to my dad. It's the weekend before his birthday. He would have been 69, and coming up on 6 months passing as well. So everyone says time is a healer. It doesn't get easier, it gets harder, because each month on the 21st is a difficult day.
Sorry, go ahead.
And it just grows. So I had to find a way to charge this, I suppose, anger, shock, all the different mixed feelings of loss, and try and refocus it in a positive way. And if I can get one message across at the end of the day, it's to love your heart. We're not guaranteed to wake up. We're so lucky, and we take that for granted. And I really just wanted to get the message out because we've done so well. I work in cancer care, and we've done so remarkable the work that's been done, and people are living now with their cancer diagnosis and living longer. But I think we're off the mark a little bit. The cardiovascular side, heart and stroke, people are dying suddenly, unexpectedly, and everyone in the country needs to be able to deliver CPR, and that's what the Irish Heart Foundation are doing, and I'm really proud to support what they do.
Now, I can see that you are emotional, and I'm sure the listener can hear it in your voice as well. Although you're smiling, I'm sure there's a lot of contemplation going on in your head as well. And I just want to ask you one final question, then we won't ask you any more about it. But working as a nurse and with the people who you work with, patients and the like, you probably see it all the time, and you were used to encountering it, but then when it moved into your personal space.
Yeah, it's like life imitating art imitating life. It's like we were at a Christmas party upstairs on our lunch break. We were all taking turns to go up, and I'm there waiting on my parents to arrive because my mum actually has cancer and she's 2 years out of it, and Dad got her through that. So he always said one thing: where there's life, there is hope. And it was just very difficult to be up there waiting on them to come, really excited about Christmas, and to unfortunately get the phone call that I did, and to run, and I mean run. And my staff that I work with were absolutely just, I couldn't get to where I am without them. They've been amazing. But Noreen got me in the car and got me home to say goodbye to my dad. But I knew it was too late. And that's a very difficult place to be, because I'm lucky where I work. Everything's there. Had they been up an hour later or before, maybe things would be different, but maybe they wouldn't. So it's very hard to come to terms with that. And I suppose that's where this has all come from. And I really want to thank, and Sinead will emulate this, everyone has been so supportive. I can't believe I'm a great one for ideas, but when it comes to getting it off the ground, I can't do this alone.
Okay. Something tells me you might need a bit of a hug.
I need a hug and help. So that's another reason why we're here. We're doing an information evening tonight about it. So we are looking for people to come and help.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you. I hope you didn't mind me asking the questions.
No, not at all. It's important.
Okay. Now, Faith, yes, it says here what age you are. I'm not going to do that because I'm not that brave.
No, I'm 38.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. If you want to move in a little bit to that nice red microphone there. Now, you're living with a pacemaker.
Yes.
That's quite a young age for a pacemaker.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, it kind of stems about 3 years ago. I was having a bit of issues with my heart, and I went in, the doctor says, let's simplify things, take you off medications, maybe change your lifestyle. So I did that. Then I became a very fitness fanatic.
Yes.
And a health fanatic as well. And I was out every day exercising, looking after myself, looking after my children. And then I progressively kept getting worse. There were signs and symptoms that I was ignoring. I was going to the doctor and they kept saying, oh, you're very, very young. Maybe you're a bit overactive. Take it easy. And so I was doing that, and I realized I was resting a bit more and more.
Slowing down,
and more signs were coming up. And Tracey's my best friend, so I was kind of conferring with her, knowing that she's a nurse as well. So, we were talking back and forth, and I was saying what was going on. She's going, just doesn't seem right. Do you think you need to get to hospital?
Go to A&E.
And then I says, oh no, I have stuff to do. And as a mom, you don't have time to say, oh, I'll do that now and drop everything. And she says, no, if you don't go now, I think I'm going to bring you an ambulance and have them drag you out of the house. So sure enough, I finally went to the hospital, and they were just like, you're going nowhere. This needs to be done. It needs to be done now. So it was very shocking, and all within seconds, I was there, and I was having a hard time breathing, and I was feeling chest pains and everything, and then waking up the next day with a pacemaker, and that was it. So I haven't looked back. I've gone through a lot of emotions with the pacemaker itself, and I'm still getting used to it. It's only 1.5 years now, but it's changed my life greatly. I feel a lot better, but I'm still not out of
the woods.
The woods, yeah. Because, the heart itself is healthy, and a pacemaker, it doesn't stop you from not having a heart attack or stop you from having a stroke. It's basically stabilizing my heart. It's keeping my heart at a regular heartbeat. So other things can still happen. I still have to look after myself. I can't always just rely on the pacemaker itself. But I do make my kids aware of my issues, and they do help me a bit more. Because of it, I do ask people for help now, whereas before I always thought I had to do everything. So I am slowing down a bit, and I rest when I need to rest, and get help when I need help. But people need to know, no matter what age you are at risk. Always look after yourself. And even if you're the healthiest person, maybe keep a diary if you're not feeling well. Check your blood pressure on a regular basis and say something.
I suppose that brings me to think about my Uncle Dick. He lived in England. He was a dentist, very healthy, very sporty, playing squash. Yeah. He died of a heart attack, clearly, in a squash match. Turns out we have a familial cholesterol problem, and it's only through his death that was diagnosed. And actually Dad did get an extension of life of about 20 years thanks to his death, to be fair. So
there was a bit of pre-warning there.
And he ended up with heart stents pretty soon after getting his cholesterol checked to find out it was like really high, and got heart tests, and then yes, you need to get this. So, you know, he did get 20 years extra thanks to his own brother, but I mean, he was a shock. He was someone you wouldn't have expected. So you know, I think we all, and that's the one thing the Irish Heart Foundation did ask me to say, that there is a helpline number, if you don't mind me saying it.
No.
The National Heart and Stroke Helpline. It's a free phone number, so you can ring between 9 and 5 Monday to Friday and access very valuable nursing staff and information in relation to any question that you have. It's a free phone number of 1800 25 25 50, and you can also email the helpline at irishheart.ie. I think that service alone is invaluable, and that's what we're fundraising for.
Just very quickly, Faith, I suppose it's on a fairly light-hearted thing, well, no pun intended, but it's equally important, and it's maybe something you never would have considered before the pacemakers. There's certain places you can't go, and certain types of equipment, like such as, hopefully not in here, that you can't be around. Get the CD players out of the
missions, yeah,
but you were saying you had to sort of hurry through some areas with electronic equipment.
Yeah, there is shops. You know, some place that you have to go to nearly every day, food shopping. There's the metal detectors, you know, the shop security detectors. I have to quickly walk through. I can't conjugate in the middle of them. And people don't realise they kind of stand there, and, or they stop you, or they're blocking it. I can't stand there. It does interfere. If I'm too close, I do feel sick, and it does interfere with my pacemaker itself. As well as travelling, going through security in airports it's not difficult. They're actually quite nice going through security. I do have a special card that I have to present to security, and they have to take me off to the side and pat me down physically. So it's a bit difficult.
And what does that card say? So I'm not a threat to national security.
The card itself just says I'm a pacemaker.
Okay.
I have a pacemaker, and what type of pacemaker it is. It's also good because if I do get sick and I'm in a different hospital, they could see what type of pacemaker I have. It's actually registered as well. It has its own serial number.
Okay.
Exactly that. It's a 2-lead one. What leads and serial numbers are on it as well to inform the doctor of what doctor implanted it. So it's changed my life. I also have to wear a medical ID bracelet. I do recommend anyone with heart issues or any sort of medical issues to make it aware, because it helps if something happens. It helps the EMTs, the paramedics, your doctor, you know, when you're not able to speak, to know what's wrong with you and who to contact in an emergency.
I see you're wearing a smartwatch. That's not a threat, is it?
No, it's not a threat. It was actually recommended because it has a heart rate monitor in it.
Oh, very good.
As well. So as I'm exercising, it kind of gives me an idea of where my heart is, and I could feed that back to my doctor as well.
In the right place, no doubt.
Yeah.
Now, Sinead, my apologies for keeping you waiting. You've been very patient there. I know you've been working with Tracey on this particular event that we've been speaking about, and the Hill of Tara is going to be the venue, a brilliant location. So what exactly will happen there? We know about the drum, and that is going to emulate the whole thing of the rhythm of the heart. So explain it.
Okay, so basically on Sunday the 28th of May, so we're looking at just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. On Sunday afternoon, we're going to have a drumming event called Drumbeat on the Hill of Tara. And the Irish Heart Foundation are going to be there on the day. They are one of the main sponsors of the event, and they will be giving out information and telling people how to look after their heart. So that's a fantastic endorsement, having them there on the day. It's giving us the event a lot of credence, and it's elevated it an awful lot. I have to say that I think this is a wonderful, practical and positive response that Tracey has created to losing her dad. And, you know, she's still, as you can hear in her voice, she's still very much in the initial grieving period. So it's an incredibly unselfish thing that she's doing, that she's using her own heartbreak to send this message. And the drumming event, it's going to be very fun, and we're urging people, kids, adults, to bring their own drums. It can be an upturned saucepan, it can be a paint bucket and a spoon, anything that makes a noise that you can drum a rhythm on. come and be part of it. That we're going to be emulating a drum beat, and there'll be a lot of crack as well. It's not going to be a somber occasion.
No, it's a celebration.
Yeah,
celebration of life.
And you're looking at 3 mums of young children here as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the idea is that families come and that kids come as well. The kids will get into the drumming, the adults will get into the drumming, and then the adults will take away a message of looking after their heart as well. When we were talking beforehand and about our particular roles in the committee and in the campaign as well, and I was saying that Tracey is very much the heart of the campaign, and maybe I'm just the head of the campaign. So I get the boring
Faith
stuff.
is the legs.
So when Tracey came with the idea first, we spoke to the Civil Defence, Meath County Council, Michael Maguire, the shop and the cafe on the hill as well, Navan Gardaí, and everybody said, yes, we want to get involved. I said to Tracey at the very beginning, keep going until somebody says no. And nobody has said no, which is just such an endorsement that it's a fabulous idea, that there's no preparation to become part of this event. You turn up on the day with a bucket and a spoon or a drum or an empty paint can, and you come and be part of creating a heartbeat on the Hill of Tara, which has like all sorts of symbolism as well, that it's very much the heartbeat of ancient Ireland as well. So there's a lovely symbolism to it as well. Now down to the practical stuff. We're here this afternoon to promote an information evening that Tracey has pulled together tonight in Maguire's on the Hill of Tara. It's at 7:00. Anybody who is interested in finding out more, and more importantly would like to help out on the day, and I don't want to scare people about helping out on the day. We're looking for volunteers to direct the crowds, to tell people where the car parking is, and to make sure everybody enters and exits the site safely. That's it. It will just be for a couple of days on that Sunday, and we'd love to see some people there this evening, because we can't do it on our own, but it's well worth doing.
Okay. I'm just very quickly going to give this a mention, and it's pretty much repeating some of what you said, Sinead. It's Drumbeat, May 28th, the Hill of Tara between 1 and 3, and the meeting about the event is on tonight in Maguire's coffee shop at 7 p.m. So if you would like to help in any way, there will be a number of very professional people to help with some of the other side of the organisational things. But if you would like to be there and lend a hand or hands or whichever, bring a friend even, they would very much like to see you there on the 28th on the Hill of Tara between 1 and 3. So Tracey, you'll be there with your upturned pot of paint drumming away.
Absolutely, yeah.
Faith will be there.
Yes.
And Sinead, I'm sure you'll be there with another pot of paint or something like that.
Absolutely.
Listen, thank you very much all three for coming in.
Thank you
Thank you
very
indeed.
much.
And the very, very best of luck to you, Tracey.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.